everybody. My name is Jarmel Perry, founder and CEO of Make It Home. Welcome. And this is going to be one of our first editions of community outreach, especially when we're talking to the people that matter in the movements, the people that actually put the feet on the ground and actually get stuff done in our community, that are trying to raise the heights and the stakes by moving up to city council, mayorships, and stuff like that. These are the type of people that we do want and run in our communities because they are a part of our communities from jump. Without further ado, I would love to introduce you to Mr. Maurice L Ward, that is running for City Council, Ward 5. Thank you very much, Mr. Ward. Please tell us something about yourself.
Thank you for having me, Jarmel. My name is Maurice L Ward. I'm running for Minneapolis City Council, Ward 5, the candidate to beat.
Whoop, whoop.
What's going on right now, like Jarmel was mentioning, is a community movement. What we're attempting to do is find agency in all these organizations and systems, and we get our voice heard. It's very important for have individuals who have experience, lived experience, be at the table, because it's been so essential for this system to cut us out, but then say they have our best interest in mind. So I thank you for having me. And what's up, brother?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we want to pass it over to Brother Derek. Please tell us much about yourself.
I am Derek Jerome Marshall, black man. I'm a father, son, brother, friend. I'm an artist throughout Minneapolis and St. Paul, and a change maker. I'm one of the soldiers in the community. So yes. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. Y'all doing some big things, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Appreciate you both for being here. That's what's up. Yeah. Wow, it's been, since I've been in the fight, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but of lately it's been some ups, especially with the unification, with making sure that justice impacted individuals is a protected class now. That was a huge thing that got passed in Minneapolis due to the hard work of many, but not limited to Mr. L Ward, that was heading that fight to make sure that we get that equality. Please speak on it further if you can.
Well, the thing about it is that I like to impress upon people the role as a city council member is not being a politician, but being an advocate. And throughout my life, I've been an advocate, been advocating for individuals, even when I didn't know what the word means, or did always open in my mouth saying this is wrong, this should be done this way. Didn't have the channeling for it. So just recently, I noticed how the bias has been utilized to keep us with a glass ceiling or have us reharmed or injured. So it was very important for me to look at the situation and see what we could do to help people elevate themselves. Because everybody who comes home, at least initially, has the thought process of doing better. But as soon as you face like an obstacle, maybe one, you can, you know what I'm saying? Maybe two, maybe three, you go call on support. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you like, man, I'd rather go back in again, just because it becomes so hard for you to make the adjustment to community, and you feel a lot like community don't want you. You don't feel like a citizen of this country. Yeah. You don't feel like you belong in this country. And then, after the newness of you wear off, family really don't want you around. How you ain't got a job yet? Why ain't you got a place to stay yet? Why you got to keep borrowing my car?
That's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? There's a bus. There's SNAP, and this is not to take anything from women who's coming home, but it's a lot of men coming home that want to be men in a household, not That's boys.
Right. That's right.
Not children, not another dependent. We have visions while we sit in that box. So my thing is, once I was doing my podcast called I Got Something to Say, and then I had a partner of mine who had been working at a nursing home doing an excellent job, doing what he felt his calling was. He wasn't working with the patients as much as he was doing floors. Did floors in the joint, came out, he wanted to start a company doing floors. They allowed him to do it. So even when the patients weren't in the room, when the patient was in the room, he wasn't in the room. They set it up so he never really came in contact with the patients. Although they seen him, they knew who he was, but he never had direct care. He never was over. All he did was clean the flows. So Bless got the job, happy, super happy. We're doing a podcast together, and he get a letter from DHS saying that he can't hold the job, the position. Now, mind you, this is after the man done got 3 raises.
Yeah.
Voted Employee of the Month twice, Employee of the Year nominated. Everybody loves him. So to me, I had never experienced the collateral consequences. It became a part of our show, and we talked about it. But I was like, you know what? Again, I knew what was going on in our community, but I didn't have a terminology to express to what was going on and what is called as collateral consequences. So as I evolved myself to understand what it was, I started thinking one day, when identity became power and our trans brothers and sisters decided, we want to be called this, we want to be called that. I'm like, why are we allowing them to call us felons? Why are we allowing them to call them offenders? Why are we allowing them to call inmates? Why won't we take control of our understanding? That's what we are right now, right? We're going to take control of who we are as people, and we're going to tell them who we are and what we're willing to do and what we want to fit in. And so that's what justice impacted individuals became as a term to correct people when they say those derogatory, because they know what they're doing.
Yes,
it's like
they
using
do.
the N-word. You know when you use the N-word or using the word black or using the word, well, you know what you're doing when you use that term. What you're doing. You trying to slap me.
Yeah.
You was an offender. But when did our last time I offend? 50 years ago? 40 years ago? 30 years ago? 25 years ago? 5 minutes ago? Like, why can't I evolve from that terminology and you see me as something other than an offender, all because it benefits you? So yeah, justice impacted individuals, and we're doing a town hall meeting that's gonna further describe the terminology. So, because we I think it's important for us to and tell the people what it means, because a lot of times people try to take it on, and you could take it on, but first we need to start with a centrist understanding of it. Then you take it on and make it what you want to make it. You understand?
Understand them.
Appreciate it.
That's much power, man. There's a lot of people moving out there, but getting something like that passed, man, is so crucial to the growth of our communities. And I understand that we're going to be bringing it over to St. Paul pretty soon.
We had it over at St. Paul. St. Paul just stopped it because they were waiting for Minneapolis to do what Minneapolis needed to do. I think St. Paul got gun shy with it. We really wanted to see the language, really wanted to see how it was going to be implemented, really wanted the Minneapolis to take the reins, and then they could just grab it. So what we gonna do, we have a meeting coming up to celebrate our win in Minneapolis, but what we're gonna do also is we're gonna start planning listening sessions in St. Paul. So the people in different precincts, different wards, they can start understanding how individuals coming home, how they need this. And then our next step is going to be state. We're going to go straight to the state. We know we're going to take a couple more city wins, and then we're going to go to the state to get it really right?
Okay.
Right now, we just taking like incremental wins, and we're not making it as robust as possible.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to figure out a lot of things the state control and the city don't control.
Yeah.
So it's not as robust. I know a lot of people like, but the fact of the matter is it's a win that's moving us to the state, so the state can understand that people need this. The crevices that people are falling through. That's why it's so important for the city to do it, because when the city say we can't do it because of the state can't run around now like, we know that this is your jurisdiction. This has to change. Then it'd be all encompassing. So yeah, Minneapolis, St. Paul, state capital.
Yep, dominoes will fall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Is there any more information that you want to tell us about that justice impacted class? Because I know when shouts out to Ron in the middle. Ron always in the middle. Ron be in the middle.
Ron be in the middle.
Ron be in the middle. Shouts out to him, man.
My man, I co-host. That's the co-host from I Got Something to Say really down. He's the one that have been instrumental. He believed in the podcast when we first started. He opened up his spot for a space so we can have a studio. We really, really, really believed in. I got something to say. It ain't gone nowhere. It's just time doesn't permit for us to do what we need to do. What I want to do is add to Justice Impacted is tell people that we're part of a national coalition. Some of the ladies, phenomenal ladies out in Atlanta, really showing you what they could do. Really, I'm inspired when I get in the room or get in a space with them, because what they did is they made Atlanta set up straight. But the fact of the matter is, I was in awe that Georgia was the place where they was able to get it done. We up here up north,
right?
And they had it done. And not only did they get it done, they gave the ladies a job. They actually now they're part of that board that hears the complaints, because it's just like anything that's new. You have individuals who never experienced being justice impacted, so they don't know how it looks.
Yes.
So they're there to explain, like, oh, this is, or just incite people to come and bring their claims. Oh, now I know somebody. This ain't no play game. We got somebody really up there who's done it. So I'm more likely gonna bring my claim now, because I know you're gonna be able to understand what I'm talking about, because you've been there.
Yeah.
So. Shout out to the ladies, shout out to the guys in Atlanta, shout out to the people in Chicago. Come on, man. This is a tidal wave, know? This is a tidal wave. But the problem, shout out to Minnesota or Minneapolis in general. It was the third city in the nation to make justice impacted individuals a protected class.
Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to Robin, shout out to Jason.
Let's go.
I shouldn't be calling them. Shout out to Robin, council person Wanda. Robin Wansley, Award 2, shout out to her. Jason Chavez, councilman. These are individuals. These are our champions who carried this for us to the goal line post and slammed it down for us.
Yeah, and I thank you. I thank you. Mm-hmm. Derek, we come from the justice impacted community.
Yes, I do.
How is this going to affect your day to day? Especially when we're out there looking for jobs, trying to make sure we take care of our family, get those housings.
When I first met Mr. Ward, one of my big things was being justice and impacted. There are no direct resources to jobs, housing, education, and it's a very exploitive business. There's no redemptive state when it comes to, like you say, I've done my time and I've served that part, but once I'm released, I'm forever serving this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't call your children stupid. You don't call your dog stupid. We don't mean these things when mistakes are made. But like you say, this is derogatory. This is a purposeful language that's being used. I think when we talk about the South, when we talk about the North, when we talk about redlining, when we talk about slavery, there's a language that's used that's not understood. Advocacy is the best word. Like I said, there's no redemptive state. We're creating the redemptive state.
Yes, sir.
I think it's very personal, because it's funny not to think about these things, right? But you think that you have support, or you almost think that the same people that put me in a situation, they gotta help.
Yeah.
I'm only asking for what's natural.
Yeah.
And as a people, we've only been asking for a fighting chance.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like I'm -1 that's being held over my head.
Yeah.
But I'm still asking for that chance, and I go out, work 40 hours, 35 hours, whatever the employer needs. I cut grass, like you say, DHS. It's amazing to me. I've had many jobs where 3 weeks, a month, 2 months after that employment starts, I done got paid. I done made connections I done made relationships with the people that I work with.
Yep.
Even something big is even to the company I work for, but it's a bigger fight that we fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard many times, hey, Derek, I would love to keep you, but my hands are tied.
Yeah.
So we talking about ordinances and legislations, and we talking about a lot of stuff that's already been passed. And it's it's not ironclad, but the way that we've been going about it is crazy. So it's amazing to be on the front lines, to see myself in the paper and say, hey, I didn't just fight for me. It's strength in numbers. When we put these things together, and that's something I want to speak on quick. We need more people.
Yes, sir.
It's so
More
many.
y'all in the fight. Come on.
Come on now. Shout out to the people that held people down when they was gone.
Right.
Whoa,
Shout
whoa.
out to the people that saved letters, wrote letters, helped on canteen. Right now we doing some heavy lifting. It's certain things that people on the inside have no access to. They don't hear them. They don't hear them. So when we put these numbers together outside and you see 20, 30, 40, 50, that's how we get them ordinances passed. That's how the council is able to see us and say, you know what, these people are fighting for something.
Yes.
And then, you know, and maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years, I know it take time, but maybe I can have that job or that career outside of what's been marginalized for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited to see where this goes. And I'm like I say, I appreciate being here with y'all.
Yeah, and we appreciate you coming in and dropping that information, making sure that we got that attachment to the people. You know, word on the street, you know, is always the best way to be able to get the word out, especially when we're dealing with people that always want to give us disinformation and try to make us feel like we need to fight one another to get anywhere. You know, the old crabs in the bucket routine.
That's huge.
Yeah, so there's so much more.
I just want to piggyback off what Derek said just real quick, because don't get me wrong, there's mechanism within the system that they say that exists that are supposed to remove that. Like there's a I forget what it's exactly called, but it's like a second look. So say if you were with an employer and a set aside. So a set aside is where an employee could cuff you, be like, man, we really like this employee. We want to roll with them, even though they have a criminal conviction. What people don't understand is that set aside does not supersede state law. That's why we have to go state, because the DHS supersedes that. So even if a employer cuffs you and be like, hey, I want to run with this person, DHS gonna be like, hey, no, we just told you they're not. Can't work there.
I'm sorry, my hands are tied.
And that's what I heard. Because remember, I'm coming up trying to figure out anything we could utilize to get this man, how this man keep his job. And everybody's set aside. Oh man, set aside. Man, I really figured out what it is, and they're intentional on what they've done. It's intentional to keep us out of that medical field. It's intentional to keep us at a certain pay rate. It's intentional for us to continue to not be able to do what we need to do. And you got to understand, in Minnesota, the medical field is one of the highest paying positions in Minnesota.
It's chest.
Keep in mind.
And to that point, you know, there's so many people that take care of their family members,
right?
And because they have something on their record, now they can't. Now DHS gets involved and said that they cannot be able to take care of their own family members,
That's
which
crazy.
they're already doing
And we
anyways.
do it all the way.
And that's another way that they keep us out the medical field, because as simple as being able to be that helpful, especially when we have elderly people in our community, that's a supporting lifeline, not only for our elderly community, but for the younger people to be able to have a stable job and not have to leave the residence, not have to sacrifice taking care of their grandma versus going to get paid.
Yeah.
So where they can be able to put those two things together and actually be successful for themselves and for their family.
Yeah, and what I'm sick of is them just utilizing these. Like, I was watching TV just a few days ago, and they were talking about the MRRA.
Yeah.
And that's Paul Snell's demonstration. And they was just talking about individuals and a couple of different things, but they're quick to run to low-level crimes and bring those people up, uplift those people. Okay. But you got to understand, those individuals have a lot of protections and a lot of avenues to get themselves exempt from that criminal conviction. Let's start talking about the individuals who have these serious felonies that they've done all this programming for, and you have nothing for them. This is what I'm talking about, right? These individuals are coming home, they're looking for jobs. But the craziest thing about it, Jarmel, like Derek, I'm not sure as you guys understand, that when we were locked up, there was individuals helping us. Because remember, the nurses don't come into the housing unit except occasionally to pass meds.
Yeah.
So there was justice impacted individuals inside working as PCAs, healthcare workers. Who else is doing it? But we get out, we can't do it. That's funny, right?
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's funny. We can do it
about-
inside, but we can't do it outside.
We talk about the legalization of slavery when we talk about end slavery. And, I also want to say this about the medical field. There's a cultural appropriation, right, that I have grown under certain remedies, certain cures, certain fix-its from my grandmother, my aunties, these same people that are not allowed into the medical field. I want to say something bigger, that the medical field has never been a comfortable field for people that look like me. Especially when we talk black women, especially tenfold when we start talking about black women being pregnant. Go back to this justice impacted, go back to us fighting for us, to not give us a seat at that table and these decisions are being made for us. There's a bigger problem going on. But then that's back to that, we're just fighting for a chance, right? When we talk about the misguided information and, taking us out of certain positions and then misguiding us information, feeding us misinformation. It's like, this is the start of that yarn ball, and it's sad to see that. I was just saying this yesterday. I'm so sad that I talked to a brother yesterday, ain't gonna get home till 2033.
Wow.
To see my people going through these things, and then what I mean by exploitive. Every time you hear no when you go up to the board, every time you hear no when you go up for a job, every time you got to come back and tell your kids that, the job didn't work, these things are taking hope. These things take the fight. When you start thinking like, man, I can only work a certain trade, or, even with me and my creativity, I hate to feel like I have to be an artist.
Right.
That cancels out the genuity of what I'm trying to do. And across the board, you just medical, education, even with the arts, even with the arts, stop taking our culture, stop taking our arts, stop using it against us. We just asked for a seat at that table.
Well, when you start talking, I'm from the crib, you from the crib. I always think about good times, and it really bothers me because it was traumatic for me to watch, but it was programming me, right, to accept it, to always expect to fail. Because remember, James always failed. He get a good job, get home, find out he got a criminal conviction. They won't. You know what I'm saying? The same stuff we go through on a regular basis. But yet still you watch the Brady Bunch. Man, these people, they got 6 kids. These they all successful, going to school. It's that culture that's making us to accept certain things. And different strokes. They had to get the white folks to get them out of the ghetto. So just think but really to go back to good times really, when I heard you talk, it just makes me think, even the day when I turn on Good Times, it bothers me, it's harm. It's making me feel when I was a kid, like this all I got. This all I'm gonna ever get. Because remember, I could see the stateway guard. I could see all that stuff. When we went down, I could see where and that was just in my backyard. That was in the horizon of my vision. That was up. That's where I was gonna end up being. So it was really important for us to come together and utilize that power. Because like you say, it's almost the programming in the mind, like accept being nothing, accept being garbage, accept being that felon or offender, accept it, because that's what you are.
And that comes off so many ways, right? Thinking about me and my father, right? Because my father come up in that time where it was like, you gotta break your back, you gotta put your head down. That these are morals and integrities that I value in him, but at a point I'm rebellious to. You're not gonna. And I'm deep in that marginal, but I still believe I can be anything I want to be. Sometimes I think about this though, right? maybe, like Tupac said, maybe I'm the spark that sparks the brain. You know, if I can just trailblaze and inch the door open a little bit more, the next generation will be able to say, I don't have this negative connotation, which is trying to chase some dreams.
Yeah.
I don't think my dad was able to dream, or his dream was really nurtured, because he come from a time where it was like, you finna have to take this job with this boss that don't like you, don't care nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? And it's day in, day out. And there's times when me and my father had conversations and he like, yo, you don't understand what I sacrificed. Some things you do have to get older, get in the world and see like, man, the world that cold to me. My existence is resistance. Like me just being here irritates somebody. You know what I'm saying? And eventually that would a dream deferred. So it's if I put this up, or if I say this, if I do this, they're gonna have something to say. What's worse now is we've been programmed so bad, we gotta stop doing it to each other.
Yeah.
You know, I was just having this conversation when I came in. I'm few and far between. I don't know many people that's like, you know, I'm gonna go to this event, or I'm gonna support, or I'm gonna call this person just for 2 minutes, 10 minutes, see what's going on in my neighborhood. That's the importance of word on the street for me, because word of mouth has always been, since slavery, we've always had signs and symbols to let us know what's going on in our community. And at some point they infiltrated, conquered, divided, and it's like, I'm gonna go back to the strength in numbers. I am proud to be a part of this organization and this movement.
Yeah.
We ain't doing nothing but helping each other. Hey, what you need? Okay, cool. This brothers in there can't have an extra roll of toilet paper. People outside don't understand how strict it is on the inside. Let me go one more time. My brother is a correctional officer, my youngest brother. You would think something, and he's good guy, good man. Yeah. To see me on this side and him on this side, and I know his heart is, I get it, that brother some extra toilet paper.
Right.
We have to have a conversation of, you working for a system that's not going to work for you. What happens when your staff and peers and your colleagues don't agree with the humanity that you're showing somebody else? These are conversations that were actually had in my family because of the divide between the people that are supposed to protect and serve and us.
Yeah, you got it, but you understand too that a lot of stuff that it's very first of all, Jive is the organization that sort of we all have a commonality within.
Yes, we do.
It's justice impacting individuals voting effectively. I'm one of the founders. There was several gentlemen like myself who seen the vision and necessariness of it. But the problem is systems and institutions. A lot of us have given systems and institutions the control of our family, control of our lives, have gone into them. And they right now we're fighting against systems and institutions within our organizations, because a lot of us have affiliations with other organizations that we've come together in coalition for power to fight these systems and institutions. With that name and with that too, we decided that we wanted a seat at the table, but we don't want a seat at the table so you could get a face in a place. So now you have authenticity. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to get a place at the table to power share, so we can give our people power, so we can make a move to better our situations. So when you and your brother are both split down the middle, and you got cell bars separating us, shows us how society has utilized, in my mind, money to separate us. Because there's the money when you come home, he's just trying to gain a career in his life, and he thinks he's doing the best he can do, and he probably feels within himself that he's going to change this system. But we understand we can't change these institutions and systems because the root of them, it's just like saying, not all police officers are bad. And we had this on our podcast.
Correct.
It's the system that they try to hold their oath to that's bad, right? Because you might know a police officer, he cool as a fan, but like you say, when they go down and put that headlock, he better jump in fast and do something.
Or they gonna be an outcast.
Or you gonna be an outcast in this system.
Yeah, he's torn over his career.
Yeah. So we have to. So what am I saying? Why did I choose to go to? Somebody asked me that about political office. Why do you choose a political office? I did many things in my life. Right now, I chose it because although it's not exactly where I need to be, it's exactly where I need to be for the people, because the people need to see somebody like me in a position. They need to see somebody like me willing to say, you know what, what's going on is not right, and I'm not gonna go past it, because that's the old me.
Right.
I would just walk past and be like, you know what, somebody else will fix it.
Yeah.
No, hold on a minute. We gotta fix it. It's up to us. We the elders now.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't nobody. We ain't young. You can act if you like you're young if you want, but we the elders, right? People are looking up to us. We the uncles, OGs, everything. So I can't walk past it no more.
That's responsibility.
I'm gonna have to stand up there. We're gonna have to go get them. We're gonna have to go put them berets on and put them black jackets on and walk down the street and be like, man, bro, listen, young lady. That's who we are now, man. Mm-hmm. You gotta. So that's why I stopped. I was like, move, hold on, maybe I should try to put myself in a position where I can help the people for real. A bit, and like this brother just said, maybe just be that spark where another just impacted individual looking out. I was like, man, he got the audacity. Mm-hmm. I'm about to run for governor.
I got governor next year.
Ain't that funny?
And the homeboy got mayor. Let's go.
You hear me?
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Like you said, like y'all said, that spark of seeing gentlemen that have been knocked down and willing to get back up and keep on fighting and not scared, because a lot of us end up, we get out of that system no matter what. We really don't get out the system because there's always other ways to keep us around, probation, parole, all those other ways. It's the simple dynamic of knowing exactly what can be done, why it should be done, and who's the type of people that actually can get it done. Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Mm-hmm. So Mr. Ward, I appreciate you throwing your hat in the ring. It is going to be a easy battle, but it should last as long as the war. Because it seems like once you win, then it seems like the real fight's gonna start. You already got two people that's up there doing their thing. Shouts out to them, City Council, Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. You know who you are. And adding another one like yourself just gets another finger to that fist that we are going to need to break down so many of these barriers that we see in and out through our cities.
Believe it or not, they don't like the fact that we're running for office. As much as people say that my vote don't count and all this stuff, when they see us flexing into these systems and actually starting to get power. Because you understand, like, I go up to people on a regular basis because I'm in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody who holler at me and see me because I'm out there. But the first thing I start talking to people, chopping it up. I'm like, are you going to vote? No, I ain't going to vote. Why you ain't going to vote? I ain't going to vote because this election don't matter. What? This is the most important election you going to ever be involved in right now because it affects you, your family, your children. These are municipalities. These are people who directly affect your life. Mm-hmm. You voting for, not the president. We talking about city council, mayors. These people are the reason why you got a ticket on your car.
Yeah.
These are the people, the reason why your taxes go up high. These are the people that do that. So if you feel a certain type of way about it, you got to get out there and vote. You're gonna have to get yourself registered. But shout out to the state of Minnesota. Interesting fact, and I said it during the press conference, is Minnesota just recently Right to Vote, RTV, allowed individuals on felony probation and on parole to vote. And the numbers came out. We had the most justice impacted individuals voting in that last election in the nation. So we really out. We really came out and showed out. Came out to vote. So what we're trying to do is synergize that base and galvanize that base to affect elections. Well, now you have to come talk to us. Now we got our own caucus. A caucus, all a caucus is. The caucus scared me when I heard the term.
Me too.
Caucus, because remember I get that.
We didn't know what we were going into.
I'm signing everybody up. We're going to caucus.
We're going.
We don't know what the hell it is. We're about to go out there and do it. But the caucus, like they try to make it the terminology's crazy, but all it is a group of people getting together saying we want this. You do it all the time. It ain't nothing. We gonna socialize that terminology. So you all say this is a group of folks getting together saying this is what we want to happen in our community.
And we caucus on every corner in our city.
All
we gotta do is just show up at the right building at the right time. Put down the hey, we bring nothing but the dominoes and the spades, and we'll have a nice caucus ourselves, And
That's all
being a
it
part
is.
of being a part of the system, it always makes you a little, skittish. It makes you feel like you don't belong. Like this is not the place for you, and it really is the best place for us.
Right.
You don't there's not pushback that happens at a caucus. There's not a whole bunch of white people that stand up and say, I don't want you around.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going. Are you saying exactly what I'm saying?
Where we're sitting back in our minds thinking that there's 50 people that's going to pull up anything and everything that they can say about us or treat us differently or wrong or anything else. That's not how that goes.
Never.
We are actually pretty good as a state as making sure that people get treated fairly for the most part. Now that's not always true. Don't say that across everything, but from my caucus experience, it's definitely something that I will always be going to and attending because I know my voice matters there.
Yeah, you definitely, and that's very important because I think maybe it's been a programming throughout history that makes us feel a certain type of way because all black men feel a certain type of way when we bring up the political apparatus.
Yeah.
Either it's the ignorance, I don't really know what's going on. But listen, that's the reason why I went to school to be able to come back to my community and explain to you in layman terms how things work. So we don't feel like you can ask me anything and we'll figure it out. And it's not hard to find that information. But I just think throughout, we know everything about nothing, but nothing about something. And that's the problem with what's going on is that when it comes to the political apparatus, we know we could get you up to speed on the P. Diddy case. Like, man, I'm going to recap
in a heartbeat.
you, maybe even act it out for you if you need me to. But when it comes to politics, it's like, man, for real, joke on with that. And that's what we losing. That's what we losing the battle at because that's most important to us right now, right? It's very important for us to understand what's going on. And like the brother was saying, man, that it's not anything. Those people treat you good when you come up in there, and they want you to volunteer and be part of it and participate in it. It's our own self-unassurance about ourselves that keeps us and prevent us from going into it. But I challenge you, go there, go to your caucus. It's not hard to find. Go there and check it out, man. I mean, come on. I know I'm not the hippest dude saying it, but man, right now we need it.
Yeah.
I also it's an ignorance versus arrogance.
Yeah.
I will say that when I got released and I was off parole, I didn't vote because I couldn't vote.
Right.
Like I held that. I took it real personal. Like, and y'all took my vote. Told me on a political system, on a system that ain't never really worked for me.
Right.
So it's like, you used the word intentful earlier. With the mechanisms in the system. It's chess, and it's like the ignorance is I don't know. The arrogance is I feel like I do know, and I challenge everybody just think about those small things. Because like you say, the caucus meeting, like, that's the city, that's important. And I got that from you, actually. Like, when I say vote, I'm talking about presidential vote.
Yeah.
Was crazy. And it's like, we talking about the corner stores, the parking tickets.
Yeah.
We talking about the
road in front of the road. You know that road that's all bumpy in front of you that ain't got the money to fix, but you go in the white community, roads nice. That's what the people do. You could be like, hey man, I want my road fixed, or I got children out here. I want a speed bump put out here. You know what I'm saying?
Or those roundabouts, so we don't have so many police chases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the police chases need to stop
Politics,
regardless.
it's like, man, for real, joke on with that. And that's what we losing. That's what we losing the battle at, because that's most important to us right now, right? It's very important for us to understand what's going on. And like the brother was saying, like, man, that it's not anything. Those people treat you good when you come up in there, and they want you to volunteer and be part of it and participate in it. It's our own self-unassurance about ourselves that keeps us and prevent us from going into it. But that's I challenge you, go there, go to your caucus. It's not hard to find. Go there and check it out, man. I mean, come on. I know I'm not the hippest dude saying it, but man, right now we need it.
Yeah.
I also it's an ignorance versus arrogance.
Yeah.
I will say that when I got released and I was off parole, I didn't vote because I couldn't vote.
Right.
Like I held that. I took it real personal. Like, and y'all took my vote. Told me on a political system, on a system that ain't never really worked for me.
Right.
So it's like, you used the word intentful earlier, with the mechanisms in the system. It's chess. And it's like, the ignorance is, I don't know. The arrogance is, I feel like I do know. And I challenge everybody to, just think about those small things. Because like you say, the caucus meeting, like, that's the city, that's important. And I got that from you, actually. Like, when I say vote, I'm talking about presidential vote.
Yeah.
Was crazy. And it's like, we talking about the corner stores, the parking tickets.
Yeah.
We talking about the
road in front of the road. You know that road that's all bumpy in front of you that ain't got the money to fix, but you go in the white community, roads nice. That's what the people do. You could be like, hey man, I want my road fixed, or I got children out here. I want a speed bump put out here. You know what I'm saying?
Or those roundabouts, so we don't have so many police chases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the police chases need to stop. Shout out to Michael Chaney.
Juneteenth is his deal. He was doing Juneteenth when it was unpopular.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Elder Chaney, I got introduced to Elder Chaney about 2 years ago. I'm sitting there talking to him. I tell him what I'm working about, Justin back to individual, blah, blah, blah. He listening to me. He just sitting there listening to me. He said, you know what? He's like, I'm telling you, he dropped. I'm sitting there. I don't even know this man, but he dropping signs. I ain't know who he was, like Spike Moss and them. So he sit back. He's like, listen, if you're gonna be justice impacted, you need to be the spokesperson for justice impacted. This is the first person that ever told that to me. Like, you need to be that particular person. He's like, I'm tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a garden. And when he said it, at first I was like, man, what is this dude doing? I ain't trying to grow no damn food, man. I ain't trying to, man. But then when I left him and started thinking about how horrible the food was in prison, how I came home and had so many issues with food, and just my relationship with food was horrible. Food had always been utilized as punishment when in prison, and food has all been one of those things. Like when I was coming up as a kid, I used to dream about, like, you used to watch the Saturday morning commercials, and you see the kid with the orange juice, milk, cereal, toast. I was like, man, well, I can't wait to get. I eat everything. That's a full breakfast. This kid got juice and milk.
Balanced breakfast over there. Yeah, and got milk in the cereal too. Had the nerve to have milk in the cereal too.
I'm like, man, come on, man. So I grew up. That's when I got older. That's what I wanted to do, because you could tell. Now you understand where I'm coming from, or where I came from. Is just that. So when he was talking to me, I've always had this relationship with food, but it was until I grew last year that I understand that food is one of those things, the growing it, to being able to give it away, the growing it to be able to plant those seeds and teach yourself and teach other people about the growth and development. I said that, man, that transformation, that understanding of it is where we could start in Justice Gardens and teach. So that's what the garden is called. It's called Justice Gardens. So what we did is we took on 27th and Queen, we took a city block that they had been gardening in. Michael gave it to us. And I shared with Elder Anita of Midwest.
Shout out.
Indian Center on Broadway.
Okay.
I shared with her. And what we're doing on that land, being stewards. The land is not ours. There's nobody on the land. What we trying to do is get a land to the community. So what I plan on doing is when I was talking to Elder Cheney that day, when he got done talking to me, he was talking to somebody else with me. He was like, I got all these beds that I need to have a place because they coming in. And I was thinking in my mind, like, why this man got all these beds? Like, why you got these beds? What's really going on? He got a housing? I didn't understand he was talking about gardening beds. And didn't understand it. So that clicked, that relationship clicked already. So me being a man of like, you know, my intelligent level was always like everywhere, and I'm a visionary. I was like, mattress beds, prison mattress beds, how thin those mattress beds are in prison, but they put us on them. And I was like, you know what we gonna do is we gonna have the men and women in the joint tell us what they want grown in they mattress. We gonna set up mattress beds that we gonna grow out of, and that's gonna be how we gonna protest and go against this political system. But that wasn't it. That was what I wanted to connect the individuals on the inside with the community on the outside, because not only on their garden mattresses, garden beds, are we gonna have them growing what they would love to grow if they were out on the street. We're gonna have stories about them. So if they were wrongfully incarcerated, they would be able to tell that story. If they just want to say what's up to the community, they could tell that story. So when people come into the garden, they can see people for who they are, because that's what the gardening community is. It's not a judgmental community. It's the most giving community that I've ever been part of. So we're gonna have that set up. So we got men and women who have beds that they've had their names on. So I couldn't figure out what I wanted to have on a plot. I kept thinking, like, I really want to do something big. So what we came up with is a solitary confinement cell. This is going to be a solitary confinement cell that replicates what individuals go in and spend 23 hours, 24 hours a day in. For some people, for years and decades, they'll be sitting in solitary confinement. We want to replicate that and grow out of it.
Yeah.
So it's a slap back at the DOC.
Yeah.
So we're not going to house people in it. We're going to grow out of it. It's metaphoric, whatever you want it to be about. But what I was having a hard time with is individuals telling me that they didn't know. Here's an opportunity for you to see, and now you to know what a solitary confinement size is, bed is, and stuff like that. And I was just recently talking to Ed from TLC. Shout out to Ed. We was with them yesterday. And he was on the phone, and I was like, man, I really want a mirror. I want a mirror, and I don't know where I'm gonna put it at. I really want a mirror. And I was just started talking to him about solitary confinement, and I was like, you know what? When I sat in solitary confinement for so long that the flow looked like a mirror. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn the flow into a mirror to replicate it, like more abstract than anything. So, because out of those shapes that was on the floor, I saw a picture.
You start making stuff
I'm
out of
making
it.
pictures out of it. That's how long I sit up in there.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to be. So what the Justice Gardens is, it's going to be mattresses that's going to be, individuals from the inside it's going to grow out of, and it's going to be a solitary confinement cell that we're going to utilize to grow. It's going to have the toilet, the bed, the desk, the sink, all those things that's going to, the chuck chute where they put the food through so you can walk through and you can do it. The final thing we're going to have, because I was talking to a gentleman that was in the joint, he was telling me about how he going to die in prison. And I thought about my wife had just recently passed. And I said, what I'm going to do is set up a memorial garden for everybody who passed away in prison. And I'm going to put my wife stone down there because she was my support when I was in there, and she's gonna be part of a retaining wall where we're gonna have gentlemen who, when they pass, and women who they pass in prison, they're gonna be able to put their names on a stone. We're gonna place a stone inside this memorial garden. We're gonna have flowers, nice, where people can reflect, but also because my wife has passed and she was my support while I was in, I'm sure when they go to heaven, she's gonna be right there to greet them and bring them right in. So that's why I'm having that going on. That's the final thing I wanted to say about Justice Gardens.
Shout out to Rocks. Shout out everybody that held somebody down, that saved them letters. It's more of y'all than y'all know. It's more of y'all that can step up, and there's more y'all that we need to step up. Hey, can I dovetail this food real quick?
Oh, do what you need.
Man, I'm sitting with this brother the other day, man. Well, a little bit ago. And he dropped the sign, something he say, man, food, we supposed to eat food that make us have energy and that feel good. Them Zuzus and Wham Whams ain't doing it. Them blue cheese, Buffalo, old Moon Lodges ain't doing it. Okay? I'm trying to tell you, them honey buns with the peanut butter ain't doing it. We've been tricked. You hear me? And it's like this is 180 of what we coming from. I was told the story of somebody called and it was a flex. Like, man, I got a locker full. I got noodles everywhere. Something that always got me was in the county, your noodle was $1. Once you get to the joint, your noodle 17 cents. That's some reading between the lines. They want you to have that. And then you stocked up on it, you got a store, illegal. You know what I'm saying? All these things just to survive. And something in my therapy we talk about is when you depressed or when you got ample time or you not feeling it or even when you anxious, sometimes we use food as a coping mechanism.
Yes, sir.
You're not even hungry. You just hitting that gland. It's like breathing. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't want to plant either. I ain't want to garden either. I ain't want to dismantle no. But when you think of love and simplicity, it's why you go to certain cultures and they make food for you, and if you deny it, it's like
a slap in the face.
That might have been all they had, man. That might have been all they had, man. And it's funny. I'm gonna say one more time, man. It's funny that we don't have access to the right foods or the good foods. But man, you could take $1 to the store and buy some Now-Laters, some hot crunchy curls, a juice, and it's like back to that ignorance and arrogance. It's a call to really think about what we've been taught and what we trying to do. What's the end game here? What's the end game here? These is big changes, man. Back to that responsibility, man. I can't see something and just walk past it. It's a job. Somebody got to do it. Anybody could do it. Everybody should be doing it. And it takes courage.
Yeah, it does.
It takes courage. That takes dedication to be out there making them beds. You know what I'm saying? The currency is giving it back, and I done been on both sides of that too. So to get a good meal that I can fill me up, I'm like, man, I don't feel bad. Come on, man, that's priceless.
Yeah, and to that, someone like myself that never made it all the way inside prison. Thank God, God had other plans for me, so he got me out of there. But the biggest thing is like learning how to garden is a big thing that we have lost in our communities. Learning these simple agriculture things that can support a family instead of us being so supported on the processed foods, the canned foods, all those things that we've grown up on. We've known that was the way to survive. That was the way to survive then. Knowledge should be gained and grown by having the community gardens like Justice Garden and all the other ones that are out there. Shout out to Michael again. I'm sorry. But it's just it's renewing the commitment of saying that we will do better when we have the chance to. And people like yourself do have that chance too to do better and show different ways to be able to make sure that we come out healthier, having longer lifespans, being able to teach irrigation and all these things to our children. So no matter what, we can always be able to have access to fresh food. That we will do better when we have the chance to. And people like yourself do have that chance too to do better and show different ways to be able to make sure that we come out healthier, having longer lifespans, being able to teach irrigation and all these things to our children. So no matter what, we can always be able to have access to fresh food. And it's as simple as digging some holes in your backyard, which we tend not to do. We rather sit around and let the other cultures do it and then pick it up at the grocery store or the farmer's market. We're number one in spending, but the brokest people on the planet. And this is how they've done it for so many generations, by just making it accessible to be able to get the garbage version of the food instead of giving us opportunities to be able to process the land, to be able to get those farmer initiatives that a lot of people don't look past, especially when we're talking about making actual money off of it. Farmers' pay is pretty low, for all that work that they do, honestly. But the knowledge that they get, that they can pass along in the land that they have, will always make money for them. Yeah, that's generational wealth in a bag.
The thing about it is, what you got to understand, in the state of Minnesota, 99% of the land is owned by 80% of the people. 80% of the people are Caucasian people.
Yeah.
They own the land. And then what they do with the land is if we wanted to start a garden right now, we wanted acres, they would lease the land to us for $300 an acre. Whatever the money might be, it'd be ridiculous when we think about it, when we try and just eat. So you want to take the land, you want to sell it back to me, but this is land that you've stolen from someone else. But you own the land. And that's another thing that Jive is working on, is a mapping of not Stillwater, but we're doing Faribault, Shakopee, and Lino Lakes. What mapping is it's called GIS mapping. What you can do is go on to a website, and you can see the history of that parcel of land. And it goes back and shows who owned the land, the treaties that was signed for the land, what was on the land prior. And we finding out a lot of these prisons were either on mental institutions, they were prior to that, or they were land that was the worst land you could possibly have, swampland. Lino Lake swampland was a swamp. Stillwater, dumping chemicals on that land, so that contaminated the water. That's why when they talk about how the water is because the water, they own well water, and they taking it from the land. But I'm not even talking about this historical stuff. We talking about the oppression on that land. About this land has always been in turmoil. But then you put people on it, and it's got spirits within this land, and you got a history of oppression. You got ghosts in this, these bodies of works, and this, there's spirits within that, and you wonder why when you pull up to these prisons, it's not you just feel that weight, that building. Like, pull up to St. Cloud one day. I don't even have to tell you to prison. Pull up to St. Cloud one day. Just drive past it. It just always seemed like it's a great cloud over that prison. But that's one of the oldest prisons in Minnesota.
One of the biggest and oldest walls too.
And they got nothing but oppression and death and theft and stuff. Just riding. But that's what the mapping project is gonna show. Just the history of these lands. And we gonna end the mapping project with Stillwater. And what I wanted to talk to individuals about, bring people up to speed, is just, a lot of people are going to figure it out and hear it firsthand about how the food is not even fit for human consumption that they're feeding people. in these prisons. Now, how can you do that? Like they feeding people food for animals, food that's got carcinogens in it, and we're being programmed to come out and eat that stuff. Like so you're not gonna eat the food up in the cafeteria, chow hall, but you're gonna come out and you're gonna start eating food that those burritos, that the meat that you use don't even have to be refrigerated. What meat you know that you don't have to put in the refrigerator?
I do not know. Oh, Spam.
Okay.
Spam probably it. And that was used in war times.
I'm just saying. You're gonna eat it. You're gonna eat. Some people eat that every single day.
Yeah.
That food every single day. Come on, man. You embalming yourself. You know, because nobody eats like that. Even if you eat Spam, you might eat it once in a blue moon. You're not eating Spam every single day.
Yeah, I hear
you
that.
know, so just that's what I mean when it coming out. Like, so our relationship with food is horrible, and a lot of times we eat food as comfort, but food's not meant to be good. Like, we eat food because it tastes good. Food's meant to be for nutrition, to charge the body back up.
Message.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to. It's a whole understanding.
Message.
When we watch commercials, they always make it feel like you want to eat McDonald's and start humming. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. Yeah. They want to make it. You know, it smells so good. I was just telling a brother the other day. It's like I was doing some research on just our consumption of the foods that's in our neighborhood. Think about all the chicken shops and the deep fried foods. But the problem with that food is it doesn't fill our stomach up. So that's why people so bloated, because they continue to eat that food, but their stomach never really gets full. So you hungry afterwards. You want to eat again. But you ate a whole bucket of chicken. Why are you hungry? But you can eat a salad, just a salad. Just a nice big salad, and you'll be full all night. Maybe have some fruit with it or whatever, because what happens is it fills your stomach up, and that's the problem with that food. That's why it's in our community. But look at the obesity and the diabetes and the high blood pressure. All that stuff is in our community because you're consuming that food. Like, I was talking to this brother the other day. I was like, man, we eating 3 meals a day. Like, where in your mind you've been programmed that you have to have 3 meals? Your body can't even process 3 meals a day.
Especially on what you eating.
What you eating? You can eat 3 small meals. You can, like, beverages and smoothies and grapes, but you eating Big Macs and you
apple pies,
big bag of chips,
supersize that.
Big bag of
chips,
yeah.
You know what I'm
spicy
saying?
or original.
And you eating that on a regular basis.
Man, y'all ever went to a buffet, man, and been hungry 45 minutes later, man?
That stuff is not for the fit.
Yep.
They do it on purpose, but
That happens to me all the time.
Yep.
You trying to take a to-go plate because you already know what it is.
I'm gonna tell you one last thing when it comes to food. I had my aunties my great grandmother lived on a plantation. My aunties, her daughters, me. I went to my auntie house. They lived in Florida. They had a duplex, and I came home because that's my home. My Florida. I grew up. That's my years growing up. So I made it to my auntie house. And I got 2 aunties, one stay in one part of the front part, one stay in the back. So I always go to my Aunt Louise's house, and then after that, I go see my Aunt Modine. Both of them passed away since God rest their soul, beautiful women. I was in my auntie and my Modine house, and she had cooked this meal for me. Eat coconut cake, fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread, macaroni and cheese. How we do it. And
How we do it.
I was eating the food, and I sprung off, because I'm busy. I'm in Florida. I'm back in Florida. I'm doing my thing. And my Aunt Louise pulled me to the side, and she was like, that's how your auntie shows that she love you. She cook you these meals. I ain't never really registered that food, how instrument, like people don't, like you saying, we don't have no lot of money. So for our women to get in the kitchen and sweat and break they foot off from your plate and put that down. That's what, you know what I'm saying? That means something.
Yeah.
That's love, man.
Even if it is bad food.
That's love.
Even bad food.
Yeah, but that's love. Back in the days, that's all we had was, and not, I don't mean like food was like like I was saying, my mom, when you go in the kitchen cupboards, you don't see shit up in there. You come out and then you see your mom done made this meal. Like, how the heck she
Black magic.
How she did that? I just looked up in there. We ain't had nothing.
It wasn't in there.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by love. What love was, it's like food was. Remember Eddie Murphy making a comment about the hamburger with the bell peppers in it and all that other stuff? When he had his little stand-up comedy, and he talking about, and that's back in the day. We used to get these big hamburgers with the bell peppers and onions, and you used to hate eating those hamburgers. You wanted McDonald's hamburgers, but that was, man, right now, give me one of those.
Yeah.
Give me one of those.
Any day of
Give
the
me one of
week.
those.
Any day of the
Big
week.
old hamburgers with the Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you. Hey.
It looked like a meatloaf sandwich, so big. But man, that's how they showed they loved us, man. That's how food was. I mean, yeah, it might not have been the best food, but man, we went out there and we took the parts of the pig they ain't even want, made a delicacy out of it.
I hear that.
Man,
Yeah.
it's our culture, man.
Culture.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we talked about the Justice Gardens. The latest thing that we have been doing was
Watching the Timberwolves lose. No, I'm just
yeah, that's
Did they lose? I thought they won.
No. Yesterday they lost by 2 points, but they had over 21 turnovers and OKC had 21 offensive rebounds. If we cut half of that number down, that's probably a blowout for us where we blow them out again. But I ain't gonna get on to that because that'll be 2 more hours talking about it. Shout out to the Timberwolves. Y'all got a y'all gonna do it. Y'all got it. So
Shout out to all the people that's been in support, man. Like, it's so many people. Like, I get up this morning. Shout out to T-Mobile. Cut my phone off. I appreciate y'all. I'm trying to get up. You know, I get up every morning and text everybody. I try to, on the positive side.
Yeah, didn't get one this morning.
I didn't get one. T-Mobile just shut that down.
Hey, love your people. Observe, respect, do the knowledge, man. For real. Hey, it be little stuff like that. That's them symbols in them. Something ain't right.
Yeah, so I'm going. I'm up at 5 in the morning because I get up early. So I'm my text. I was like, they had already told me what the business was. Like, my phone was gonna go off because of blase skippy personal stuff. But besides that, it's our support system. People who've been in the corners for us, who's there for us, that we chop it up with. Man, shout out to those folks, man. Shout out to everybody who been like I said, I was walking in here today, and I was like, man, I came up with the plan that I was going to run for a candidate from Ward 5, Minneapolis City Council, and all my people came around me saying, we support you. That's some strong, that's really strong, man.
Yeah.
That's strong, man. That's strong to have people to support you, because you got to be moving somewhere in some form but that's what I'm saying. Shout out to them people, man, that, you could reach out to for real. Because now I done been to the joint, I know who the real friends and who the fake friends are. Because I ain't going to the club no more.
Nope.
Don't people at the club. You have 1,000 friends going through the club. You meet friends walking through the blind. Oh, you going through VIP? Come on, I'm your friend. I'm jump in with you. But nah, I'm talking about real stuff. We like I said, breaking up pallets and digging in grounds and marching and. You know what I'm saying? At events at the Capitol. Where they at?
Right.
This similar interest.
But I do need to. So we've heard Maurice, the activist, the person that's a leader in our community. We need to hear a little bit about your platform. What can you tell the people, the OGs at home that are in Ward 5 looking for their next city council member?
I'm gonna tell you just like this right here, man. I've been I'm out and about doing what I do. I'm not a type of cat, because all these people cause this is different. This is a different race, right? Because nobody really had the office. Nobody's been a city council person. So everybody's talking about, this and that. But, I don't even get into the fact that my background, my history, my degrees, my education, all this other stuff. I get into the fact that what I do today, what I'm about to go do now. And my 9-to-5 job is advocacy, right?
Yes.
Job, justice, impact the individuals voting effectively. That's my 9-to-5, right? I don't punch into a system or institution. I'll punch into that, right? And I've been doing it for the longest, right? Since we started the organization, I've been doing it. So that's what I start with. Now my platform is the people, right? Because the only thing I could do is represent the people. But the breakdown of it is I'm pro affordable housing for all. I'm pro unions and pro labor, and that means in itself that I'm fighting for the workers, for the right to work and get the best wages possible. And I'm pro small businesses. But the thing about it is what I want people to understand, because I was just out in North Point on Friday. In North Point, they do Fresh Food Friday, and I go out there to grab me some fresh food, because only thing I'm turning down is my collar, right?
Yeah.
I'm out there getting the fresh food from North Point, and one of the brothers walked up to me, and he was like, Maurice, he's like, and I didn't even know who he was, but I just been in the community so much, so people starting to see my face and really recognize, and I appreciate that. He was like, he's like, you got to win a seat, you got to show these young brothers how to dress. And I just think, like anything, we know that you have to dress for the position. You have to be shooting. Even if you the fry cook, you got to come in as the manager, because that's the position that you want. And I just think that what I'm bringing to the table is the fact that not only I'm talking about the beautification of North Minneapolis, not only am I talking about making moves and changing things progressively, I'm going to be the best dressed Ward 5 candidate. I'm gonna be the best dressed council person probably in the nation. I'm not gonna say Minneapolis.
I know that's right.
I'm just saying.
I know that's right.
I just keep it because I believe like old school. Like you see an old school cat. Mm-hmm. He gonna have his little walking suit on. He gonna have his little cap on.
Top to bottom.
It's just a way to carry yourself when you want a position. I want a position in my community. I want to look like a community member. When I want a position in my community, I want to look like I'm a city council member. I want to look like I command what this community can be. You understand me? When you look at me, you see what we had, and I can't look like that. I'm not just trying to say like people that's trying to make it and stuff like that. I just feel like my sister was talking about. Even if you're going in there because she worked for, shout out to my sister, worked for North Point. She's like, even if you're going into those community places asking for resources, it's like they want you to come in with a bonnet on your head. They want you to come in. You can't wear your Jordans. You can't come in feeling good about yourself.
Right.
You might have just fell down for a second. You still want to feel good about yourself.
Right.
They don't want you to come in like that. They don't want you to come in but because they make the decision based on that. Like, oh, okay, well, she really need it, opposed to be like, I just want to feel good. I don't want to come in here feeling broke down, bust down, even if I might be. But that we are people of resilience. We could be having the worst day. You know what I'm saying? The worst day, but you will never see it on our face.
You never will.
I'm saying? And that's where we come from. That's what we have. That's what I was raised. I mean, we do poor extremely well. You know what I'm saying? You'll never know. You'll go into the house and you'll sit down. The house is clean. They eating a meal. We've done that. So we know how to do poor. Poor to me don't even like we was poor. Like I
thought we was just in the neighborhood.
I just seen some, I know y'all probably like, how did this young fella get up there with him? Hey, now I seen something the other day I really want to touch on because you said that though. Sometimes we do it so well, right, that when other people are going through poverty, they feel like they can relate to the black diaspora experience. Mm. Being poor does not make you black. I just want to say that this goes back to we making the best out of the worst, and we shouldn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. I see there is a appetite for black culture. Yeah. And somebody asked me the other day, they say, how do you feel about black culture? And I say, black culture is from trauma.
Yeah, true that.
It's from trauma.
Speak on it.
Like, hey, yo, you want to talk about gold grills? We only put gold in our mouth because we couldn't trust the banks. Mm-hmm. we talking about the medication field, even spam. Like a lot of these things that are going on that we made work were not intended for us, and we had to go the extra above and beyond. You know, I really, and as an artist, I think about this because it's like, and I think everything is an art, but it's like to be kept out of something, put in it to excel, and then still be told you're not enough. And then you gotta discount who you are, what your product is. And I live the Black diaspora experience. So it's a catch-22. I said this earlier. I want to say this again. My existence is resistance. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I have to uphill fight. I love my Doritos and my Zuzus and Wham Whams, but at some point I gotta say it's not for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's a spot because it's like I also ain't got the Luns and Barleys or the Kowalskis.
Yeah.
It ain't even that access. So
But what you do got is access to grow.
Yeah.
And you can have everything they had there because when you go in those stores, all they got is fresh food.
Yeah, fresh produce.
They be like, we be like, man, oh man, look at the man, they got fresh
peaches.
food, man.
Look
they
at
got
blueberries.
fresh food. Yeah. And a lot of stuff they cook is fresh.
Right.
You know, it ain't nothing like that. They culture is to make it either we move so far away from it that we don't understand who we are, or it's we're in a position where we see it as being too expensive.
Yeah.
And if we just do it ourselves, it'd be, I mean, like I said, I had cucumbers for days. I had bell peppers for days. I had all types of food for days. I didn't have to go to Cub last year.
Right.
And I was giving it away. That's what I was going to put it on.
That's cool.
That's what I'm I was going to people's houses, knocking on their doors like, who, you need a basket of food? They'd be like, come back here. I'm gonna cook a plate for you. I want you to taste your food. And that was just,
that's cool.
There's no joy like giving and unexpected with nothing in return. And but a person be like, I'll cook you a meal. That's our community right there, bro.
Right.
That's what we missing is that community right there.
Yeah.
I seen something that say the industrialists sell 10 nuclear families, 10 hammers. The community say you only need 3. The community say you only need 3. Mm-hmm. If I got 1 for these few houses, and you got this, and you bring the tomatoes, and I bring the, we can't do it all by ourselves.
True that.
We shouldn't have to do it all by ourselves. And just dovetail on that quick. That's a big difference. Giving something away, it ain't never really been cool to, you know what I'm saying? When you getting everything taken from you, feel like I ain't got nothing to give away.
Right.
It's that little bit. It's that, you know, ain't asking for too much. It's crazy. We ain't asking for no donations or none of that. Okay, this is just like help your neighbor, man.
Yeah.
Help your people, help yourself.
On that, we do need to wrap it up because studio time is not free around here.
Right.
Even though it is free, honestly.
What's up, T-Mobile?
So, please give us your last thoughts. Let's start with Derek, and then we'll move over to Maurice.
First and last thought, I'm appreciative of being here. I'm appreciative of being here. 10 years ago, I was in a different situation. Justice impacted the individual. A lot of the things that's going on right now, I wouldn't have thought even were possible to be sitting next to extraordinary. I'm talking about mentors. I'm talking about trailblazers. I'm talking about, hey, little brother, let me help you real quick. What you need, a meal? What you need? This is serious. We mean business.
Maurice L Ward, Minneapolis City Council Ward 5. Got a town hall meeting happening on June 7th where we're going to break down a few things. Also, with the Stillwater closing, we got a town hall meeting, I think on the 17th or 18th. Put that down below where we're going to be just breaking down Stillwater and what's necessary for our community to stay fast, hold fast for these individuals that's going to come incorrect to try to build another prison. Whole nother story, whole nother podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you back, and
we're gonna
have to break
hit
that down.
But just on a real tip, You know, I guess the biggest thing is that the fact of the matter is that I think the conviction in prison made me understand what true friends are, what community looks like, you know, what family's supposed to be, and what I need to do to step into my role. You know what I'm saying? Prior to that, I thought my role was everything but being that person in my community, that father figure. You know, although I did my pieces in my family, I didn't understand my community was my family, and every brother that looked like my son was my son, and every female that looked like my daughter was my daughter, and every person that was my wife's age was my wife, and I didn't understand all that stuff until I came back home, and now I'm moving from that positionality, and like I say, it's gonna be more of this, and you know, give me the opportunity to hire me for your city council person, and I'm definitely gonna do the job and get it done extremely well. Thank you.
Yes. And thank you guys very much. I'm Jarmel Perry, CEO of Make It Home. My job is to stop the revolving door of the jail and prison system, as well as educate and make sure that everybody gets the best chance to make it home. Y'all stay safe and stay blessed. Cut. I knew he was going to do it.